Welcome back to SleeplessRonin Plays. And today I'm going to be doing a relatively short tier maker involving only 8 packs, because I got a request on one of my other videos, and I'll be honest, I can't remember which video it was exactly attached to, so I should kind of give a rankings for the Mercenary Force packs we already have released. The 7 of those, plus I've also just had to throw in the Proliferation Cycle pack. Now, my ranking system this time is S, A, B, C, D, just kind of like a tier, S is best, D is worst, and the reason why I'm doing it that way is because I'm not going to rank these on how many you should buy or I think you should buy, because this time I literally bought 2 of everything except for the Wolves Dragoons pack, which my reaction was I only really need one Annihilator because I don't even really use that one. So that's where we're at. I bought 2 of everything else because I liked the unique mechs in them enough, and some of the variants are pretty cool, and sometimes you get a really cool side mech like the Catapult K2, so we have those to talk about. So, there's why we're not going to be seeing this is a buy this many or buy only one of this, because I literally bought 2 of everything except for the 1 pack. And I do realize I misspelled Grey Death Legion on the thing, even though I could have been looking right at it, because I always spell the word gray with an E. Don't ask me why, I've always preferred the British spelling, so that's the way I spell it. Anyways, the first pack we're going to look at is the Hansen's Rough Rider Battle Lance. This is essentially like a template for a FedCom Lance. If you looked at my wish list video, which was the one I just did before this one about, what mechs I want to see in a Clan Invasion era wish list, like force packs. This is very much a FedCom force pack if you think about it. Every mech in this pack is a FedCom mech. It's got the Penetrator is the new unique mech, which is really awesome. It's a very good mech, in my opinion, overall, for a nice, stocky, survivable heavy, because it's non-XL engined. So the stupid thing is able to really march around on the battlefield at a relatively slow speed, sadly, of only a 464, which is relatively sad, but that's just the way it goes. So the big thing about the Penetrator is it's just got 2 variable weapon loadouts. Its main version has 2 weapon loadouts you're going to switch between as you're fighting. You're going to be using either the 2 ER large lasers to snipe as you're coming into the battlefield at your relatively slow speed of 464. Or when you get into the really rough and tough, up front, impersonal, fighting at point blank range kind of combat, you've got your brawling mode of 6 medium pulse lasers, which is pretty good. That's a pretty devastating little barrage there. The problem is this thing carries a AMS system, which tends to knock your heat a little bit out of whack. It's the one thing that makes this mech less efficient at switching between its 2 variants of heat. So I like the unique mech in the Hansen's Rough Rider Battle Lance a lot. The other mechs are just so-so. The Enforcer is a very common mech. It's not a bad mech. It's not a great mech. It tends to be relatively heat efficient because it always carries 1 large autocannon or 1 large gun and a large laser of some variety, usually a large laser or an ER large laser. So it's got that going for it. It's relatively well armored, and it has different speed profiles depending on if it has a better engine with an XL or not. And it doesn't look bad. The resculpt is nice. It's solid. And you'll end up with plenty of Enforcers if you picked up this and some of the other packs. So yay for Enforcers. The next mech in the pack is the Hatchet Man, which since I got 2 packs of, the way I built all of my jumpy mechs was 1 jumping, 1 non-jumping. So that's just really worked out nice for me that way. I like this Hatchet Man variant because this is the rotary autocannon Hatchet Man variant, which is really sweet. The biggest problem with this pack is we get another Atlas. And you get Atlases in so many things. There's an Atlas in a Lance from the original Kickstarter. There's an Atlas included in the Alpha Strike pack, which of course I got 2 of the Alpha Strike pack. There's an Atlas included in this. So you just end up with Atlases just coming out your ears. Just so many Atlases. So that's why this pack for me is really leaning much more closely to a B tier pack. It's really a midline pack because I don't need to have a full company of freaking Atlases. And I kind of nearly do. I mean, I have so many Atlases. I'm going to be able to paint up 1 for every major faction, which is all the houses, my mercenary faction, my Word of Blake or whatever. Potentially I think I painted up 1 as a clan. I think I've got an Atlas C painted up for Smoke Jag or whatever. You just get so many. I got so many Atlases. So for me, this is really a B tier pack. The Penetrator's awesome, but the Atlas really pulls it down. Okay, the next pack we have up is the Grey Death Legion Heavy Battle Lance. Yes, I misspelled Grey Death. I've already said that. Let's move on past that. No more talking about that one. Okay, this one is a really pretty cool pack. It's got the mechs in this one are really nice in my opinion, quite a lot. Now, I do not know a lot about the region, or I didn't know about the region until I started reading up before I got the pack, because it's from the this is like from like 31, 40, 45, somewhere in that area. Way down there, Ilklon era, which is like way later than like anything I've really played so far. I want to play in that era more because it's got mechs I haven't experimented with, haven't played, and haven't tried. But it is one of those mechs, hey, I don't know about this mech too much at all. I don't know who it works for, what it's done. I do know that after I did some research, it's a clan Omni mech at 90 tons. Wow. It's got a lot of big weapons on it, a lot of multiple variants. I think the sculpt is pretty darn cool, so let's sit there. And it's kind of fun to see them actually working into this era I don't know a lot about, because now it's giving me a reason to want to jump in and learn about it more. I mean, I had to catch up on the fiction so badly. I'm not to discuss too much. How far behind I'm on the fiction I am. But it's really kind of cool. It's giving me a reason I need to look in more of this stuff. And maybe someday I'll get to play some games or some campaigns or whatever that'll take place in the Dark Ages / in the Republic era, post-Republic, whatever all that stuff is. So, yay, fun mech. The sculpt is pretty nice. Overall, I like it. It's a solid, durable mech. It's got a lot, it has a lot of like PPCs or lasers on it, which is pretty cool. But let's talk about the other mechs in the pack, because honestly, that's where this pack really soars. We have the Catapult K2 variant, which is the PPC side shoulder one, which is just badass. But I mean, I am so glad we got that, because that is just awesome. I always love painting up, or I actually built back in the day when we only had the metal miniatures. I built my own Catapult K2 when by buying Ironwind bits and buying like 2 of the Hollander metal cannons and just building it onto the side of the catapult that I cut the missile pods off of. So I built my own K2 variant back in the day. But now I've got the nice new K2 variant, which they've released, which is just sweet. And I, of course, since I got 2 of this pack, I have 2 of it, which is awesome, because I definitely going to paint one of those as Karita. And I think painting those up as Word of Blake, because I think they tend to use them also. But that was an awesome sculpt. I'm very happy for that variant. Usually I'm not super thrilled about variants for mechs, but the Catapult K2 is an awesome variant. Then we get a Shadowhawk, which is also nice to see in this pack, because Shadowhawks were previously only available in the Battletech starter box, the Game of Armored Combat. So this puts a Shadowhawk into a second place that makes it more accessible to people that maybe didn't want to buy the main big box, or maybe want to add to the big box without, buying doubles of the big box. So, not everybody went out there and bought, like I did, 2 of the main box to get double downs of Battle Masters, Awesomes, and so forth and so on. So, by the way, if they do decide to do reprints of Battle Mechs in the upcoming Force Packs, I really do hope that the place they do look first is for mechs from that Game of Armored Combat, because like the Awesome should be in a Succession Wars era pack for Free Worlds League. It should be in there. I mean, it's a Free Worlds League staple mech, so it should be in there. So we get the Shadowhawk in a second way to get it, which makes this pack even extra awesome. Of course, you can have jumpy or non-jumpy, so I built 1 of each. And, Shadowhawks are just a good mech to have. They're not a great mech, again, by any stretch of the means. I mean, the basic variant of the Shadowhawk is a true garbage pile in all truth. But it's one of the 3 brothers, the Wolverine, the Griffin, and the Shadowhawk, that's really nice to see. And then the last mech, because there's 2 clan mechs in this pack. We get the freaking Gargoyle. But this is the Gargoyle, they think there's the Hag on it, which is represented by the rotary autocannon kind of like thing. So, awesome. I mean, I'm serious. That's a really cool sculpt. I like this pack. This pack is actually going to be getting our S rank approval because of the inclusion of the Shadowhawk and the awesomeness of the Catapult K2. For me, this pack is like, this one was just loved this pack so much. Our third pack is the very first pack that came out like this style. And it's the Wolf's Dragoons Assault Star. Yes, it's a star, it's not a lance. So we have that. It gets 5 mechs in this pack instead of just the 4 in a normal lance. And what do we got in here? Well, our unique mech is the Annihilator. Yay! You're super, super slow. 4 LB-10Xs, 4 AC-10s, 4 Gauss rifles in the Gauss-Zilla version kind of mech. It's a walking turret, essentially, is what you were talking about right here. That doesn't generally have very good armor. Most of the armor is relatively low on these versions. Like, we're talking in the 200s versus maxing at 300 because it needs so much tonnage for the guns. It's never been one of my favorite mechs. I'm glad to have one of it, but that's all I needed. And then what else is in the pack? Well, we've got the Mad Cat. The Mad Cat has been in a lot of places, too. Or at least it has been for me. I mean, I've gotten so many freaking Mad Cats, it's not even funny. So, again, it's one of those mechs I've painted up for like nearly every faction that can reuse it. So, all the invading clans, more or less. Plus, I did a Word of Blake version, and I think I may have painted up a Fed Sons version, did a Mercenary version. I think I may have done a FedCom one also, because I have so many Mad Cats. Now, I think I did get one of those, or maybe 2 of those, in blind buy boxes, but still, I have so many Mad Cats that another one is just another one. Then we have the Rifleman. And the Rifleman is nice to see. It's, yay. I've got plenty of Riflemen out there. Because I think I bought many of the boxes with the Rifleman in it for the basic 4-pack Lance. And so, yay. But it's a Rifleman. Riflemen are cool. It is a different variant of the Rifleman, I do believe, in this pack, because of the way it's loaded out. Then we have the Blackjack, which is a solid little solid little medium. And this one's got like the SRM2 looking variant on it, which is pretty cool again. I like Blackjacks. They're really kind of cool. And if you're playing historical, like when you're advancing to like a campaign in years, the Blackjack's one of the first mechs to get a double heatsink system. May not be the very first, I'm not going to say that definitively, but there's a variant that comes out relatively early on with PPCs and double heatsinks, which makes it very cool for the time period. Also, just to be a good range sniper mech because it doesn't move very fast, 464 generally, nice and slow. And then we get the Wolf's Dragoons, the W version of the Archer. I'm a bit tired, so I'm blanking in a few things, but still, it's pretty dang cool. That's the Archer 2W or the C2 Archer. Yes, it can represent either which one of those two, which is really kind of nice. And I like this Archer sculpt a lot on this pack. So it's my favorite mech in the pack for the sculpt-wise. But I think that overall, this is really one of my least favorite packs of this entire setup. It's not my least favorite. It's one of my least favorite, though. And I really feel the Wolf's Dragoons, unless you really absolutely love Annihilators, is kind of a C-tier pack to me. Just because, aside from the Archer, I wasn't even super thrilled with all the alternate sculpts in this one. They just didn't really stand out. I mean, like, they could have done a different Timberwolf that had, like, the laser pack on the side of it, or the offset differing missile pack, or the one that has the missiles going forward and backwards. There were other variants. They kind of did the Timberwolf T or whatever, and the Timberwolf Prime. Boring, so yay. Yeah. I think they could have done better alt sculpts to make it more interesting. Next up, we have the Kell Hounds pack. And the Kell Hounds pack is an interesting one. Because, once again, we've got like this really like a nice thing. We have the Griffin included in there. And the Griffin was only gettable beforehand via the starter set. And so you didn't get a lot of Griffins out there. So it was really nice to see the additional Griffin coming in. And I really like that. But our unique mech is also really cool in the Kell Hounds pack, and that's the Night Sky. This is a pulse laser, generally wielding axe-wielding medium mech, with a pretty good speed profile and significantly nice armor. So the Night Sky is always one of my favorite mechs. I love axe mechs. Just axe mechs are fun mechs. They hit things with big slabs of steel, whack, 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 which is awesome. So the Night Sky is awesome, in my opinion. You get the Wolfhound, which is a nice light mech. Wolfhounds are a solid light mech if you're willing to accept that they don't jump. But they're laser carrying, usually relatively heat efficient, or where you can swap out a big laser for a bunch of medium lasers or whatever. And so they maintain themselves pretty well that way. And so Wolfhounds are solid mechs. And then I just love the inclusion of a jumping Crusader. Of all the mechs that could jump in this thing, I'm glad they picked the Crusader, because you don't really tend to think of the Crusaders as being a jumpy mech, but the Crusader is a jumpy mech. Especially the Liao one, which should have the early Liao one, which should have difficulties with the jump jets, like they did not work properly at all, and they overheated and they caused all kinds of issues, which is a lot of fun. But I've always had a soft spot for Crusaders because they're one of those jack of all trades, master of none mechs. They can do a little bit of everything in the battlefield and none of it really well. And of course, some of the early variants are just ammo explosions on legs waiting to die. They're hilarious, but I love them. I've always loved the Crusader. Also, this is one of my favorite resculpts they did in all of the new mechs for Battletech. Or all of the resculpts for Battletech. Just the amazing awesomeness of the Crusader resculpt is just fantastic. So, this pack is a really good one. I'm going to say that this is an A rank pack because of everything. There's a good mech. It's nice to see the Griffin getting another release selection, and the Night Sky is really awesome. Plus, the Crusader is just an awesome Crusader. So, yay for that. There we go. You know, sometimes you'll get bonus points just because I like your mech a lot. So, now, we've got a perfect spread so far. Let's hope nothing hits the D column, right? The D column would be very bad. Like, I'd hate to have a pack in the D column. But now we've got the Northwind Highlander pack up, the Northwind Highlander Command Lance. And this one has got a really nice, unique mech in it. It has got the Gunslinger, and oh, I was so happy to see that. It's like, yes, I love the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger and the Cerberus, both of them same TRO, were mechs I fell in love with, like, when I first started playing Battletech. Well, not when they first, but when they came out, when they were new in Battletech, I just fell in love with them both. Dual Gauss rifle wielding, medium laser carrying mechs, or medium pulse laser carrying mechs that just can fight on. I fell in love with them. So for me, they have a special place, and the new Gunslinger sculpt is really sweet. It just looks really, really good. I really love it. Other benefit in this pack is you get a Grasshopper. I love Grasshoppers. They are such a cheesy little heavy mech in 3025 as long as you're running like the PPC variant. They're fun. They're easy to use. They're not great. They're not like, well, they are great actually, but they might be a bit too good for the time period in some ways. Then we get the Warhammer variant, which is the 7S / the C2. That's Clan 2 version. That's like that streaks up on the rack launchers above it, which is really kind of cool. Makes it nice and different. That was pretty cool. And then we get the Highlander, which is the 732 and the 740 variants. This is our jumpy mech. And the awesome thing about this one is when you do the jumpy with the Highlander, if you put it on the base, you get to put it on standing on a mech that is Highlander buried into the ground. And the mech that is buried is an urban mech. So, yay. On that one, I actually didn't do any jumping Highlanders because, for me, personally, burying an urban mech is just so sweet. I like this Highlander a lot. It's just got some attitude to it. So this is going to actually become, it's not an S pack, but this is another A pack for me. This is just like, I love this pack. This pack was fantastic. It brought back one of my childhood favorite mechs, and it has good variants, awesomeness to it, and that Highlander is just a lot of fun. Next up, we have the Eridani Light Horse Hunter Lance. Ooh, lots of words right there. I mean, Light Horse Hunter, that makes it, yeah, it's probably kind of cool. Okay, in this mech pack, our unique mech is the Sagittaire. Now, if you want an Inner Sphere Pulse Monkey mech with a targeting computer, this is your boy. This thing rocks. Never heat efficient, never anywhere close to heat efficient. It's got pulse lasers all over the place, some going backwards, some going forwards. It has an ERPPC, it's got a targeting computer. You can arm flip the bastard. It's a 353 jumping assault mech. It's a city brawler and a half. This thing just like goes into cities and says, I own this place. So very cool mech. I really like the resculpt because it makes it a little bit less, I mean, it's still a bulky boy, but it makes it a little bit less like crazy huge. It's still nice. It's still big. It's still got the crazy weird legs on it. So it keeps all that goodness right there. And it's just very awesome. Very awesome mech. Then the other thing here was we get a Thunderbolt. We get the Thunderbolt 5SE/C2 Thunderbolt, which is really kind of cool because this is one of the mechs that the place you got the Thunderbolt was the starter pack, the Game of Armored Core box. So if you didn't buy a lot of those, you didn't have a lot of Thunderbolts. And if you wanted to run multiple Thunderbolts, or like me, you like to paint them up in all the different factions, you didn't have a lot of Thunderbolts to pick from. But now, it's included in this pack. So, yay! And of course, Thunderbolts are just awesome, solid mechs. In fact, my next deep dive video when I'm going to do the combat analysis for the mech is the Thunderbolt. So look forward to that. I'm working on it right now. Of course, it's just taking so much time to do because it's a lot more work to do all the math, the deep dive into the research of the variants and stuff like that to really get a feel for that mech, and it's just taking some time because writing out this one is a longer process. Then we have the Banshee, which is the 3S/12S Banshee. Very cool. Banshees are always awesome mechs. Big assaults that are just... This one just like glistens with guns, essentially. Just makes it awesome. Then there's the only sad thing in the entire pack, and that is the inclusion of a CP11A/C Cyclops. A/clan version of Cyclops. It's just, Cyclops are one of those mechs that, as an assault mech, it just kind of feel really sad for their existence, because they tend to be heavily under-armored, heavily under-gunned, fast and commandy, but that doesn't really do much for you when they are just terrible and awful. So that's a big problem the Cyclopses have had. They're just in general, Cyclopses are just not potent things. This pack, I honestly want to rate it all the way up to S rank, but I'm not going to because of the Cyclops alone. You may not want more Cyclopses. This is a good A rank, A tier pack though. Very good. Thunderbolt inclusion, very sweet. Sagittaire, very awesome. The next pack up is the Snord's Irregular pack, which came out at the exact same time as the Proliferation Cycle pack, I do believe. This pack is one that troubles me in a lot of ways, mainly for the inclusion of a mech I honestly don't like in general. Now, some people may have a sweet spot for the junk mech. I've never really liked... The pack calls it a Rifleman Schneed. It's not. It's a, what are those things called? A, Frankenmech. Thank you. Their brain worked finally. Derp, derp, derp. I don't like Frankenmechs. Mainly because I always tend to think of this Top Gear episode where James May cuts two cars in half and sticks them back to back on there. And while it does drive, it's really, really awful. And Clarkson makes... It's one of those vehicles, you know, if a Frankenmech existed in real life, the chances are the first time you get hit by any weapon, it's just going to shut down. Because something's going to break somewhere, some system's not compatible, you're going to have to throw a couple of errors, falls apart, and like bolts just pop out of it. Because there's no way that you could really make these things truly mesh in such a way that it's going to be a competent ride. I mean, this thing is running all kinds of stupid parts in it. The bonus in the box is you get the ability to put a Phoenix Hawk head on it if you want to. I just don't like Frankenmechs as a concept, just like I've never liked TIE Uglies from Star Wars. I've always thought that this is just dumb. It's really like, how many people you see in the modern world really driving around in a car that's built from 4 different cars? Do you think that would work very well? Do you think that'd be like, would that be a ride you'd trust yourself to even get into? I don't think I would get into that kind of car. So to me, it's a fun kind of concept, but at the same time, I also think it's a dumb kind of concept. I just don't like Frankens/Uglies, so never been my thing. That's what just drags this pack down, in my opinion, because otherwise, there are 2 amazing mechs in this pack and another Highlander. Yes, this Highlander has the gigantic nipple cannon, but at the same time, it's just another Highlander. This is our 3rd pack with a Highlander. It's the Comstar level. There's a Comstar level 2. I can't remember which level 2 it was. Yeah. We just have enough Highlanders right now, in my opinion. So this is a non-jumpy Highlander in this pack. The jumpy mech is the Guillotine, which is one of the awesome mechs in the pack. Always can use more Guillotines. Very solid, heavy, very good mech. And then we get the awesome Spartan, which is our speedy, fast, not the best armored, kind of like almost an assault scout mech in some ways. Fun little mech. The sculpt is definitely an improvement on the old Spartan sculpt, but it is definitely not a looker. So it was the unique mech for the pack, and the Snords is, well, Snords has 2 unique mechs. It's got the Frankenmech, aka Rifleman Schneed, and it's also got the Spartan, which is also cool. Technically, I guess that is Rhonda's Highlander. Is that actually Rhonda's Highlander? I don't think it is. That's just a 732-694 Highlander. So, I mean, they didn't even make the Highlander her unique ride, because I think otherwise it'd have boom boxes on the side of the head, which would have been much cooler. But still, it's another Highlander from another box, which is, I guess, if you want a lot of Highlanders. By the way, I have a lot of Highlanders now. It's a good box. But the two other mechs, the Spartan and the Guillotine, very awesome. The rifle, the Highlander, okay, we've got a lot of Highlanders. And then the Franken mech just pulls it down. And yet, I still can't rate this as low as the Wolf's Dragoon box. This is a B tier box, in my opinion. It's got some really good stuff in it. It's just got some draggers. So let's talk about the very last pack. The Proliferation Cycle pack. This pack is fantastic. For one thing, it's the biggest pack we've had to date. That's not like an Alpha Strike box or Game of Armor Combat box or something like that. That has a lot of extra stuff in it. This is just a big mech pack. This is 7 mechs by its lonesome. So, yay. What do we have in here? Well, everything is unique sculpt for this one. Everything. All of these are, bam, brand new 7 mech pack sculpt. Freaking sweet. We've got the Mackie. We've got the Fire Bee, the Icarus II, the Emir, the Battle Axe, the Gladiator, not the Clan Omni-Mech, but the Inner Sphere Gladiator, the one from Kurita, and we have the Coyote, which is the very first Clan Omni-Mech. So this pack gets you 6 Inner Sphere mechs and a Clan Omni-Mech, a very early Clan Omni-Mech, but nonetheless, it's a Clan Omni-Mech. This is a really awesome pack. Some of these mechs just look freaking fantastic in this box. The Battle Axe, the Icarus II, the Gladiator, and even the Mackie all got some massive facelifts awesomeness. The Fire Bee looks a lot nicer. It's not as skinny and thin. The Emir has some nice proportions to it. Very awesome. The Coyote still looks goofy to me, but hey, it's one of those, you slap an airplane on top of legs and go with it kind of things. Still, the Proliferation Cycle box is fan-freaking-tastic. Amazing. I'm so glad to see a pack with everything brand new in it, which does give me hope that when we get to the Clan Invasion era of the Force packs, we're not going to see a whole ton of reprints. We may actually see boxes with 3 to even 4 brand new mechs in them, especially since if they're going to do an Inner Sphere Force Succession War kind of like time period, Succession Wars era pack, I'm expecting we're going to see resculpts in those, or like alternate versions of all the different mechs of the time period. You know, different versions of the Warhammer again, different Marauders. We're getting into them. We're getting more Marauders on the Mercenaries Kickstarter as well. So, you know, but we're going to see like packs like that. We're going to have plenty of places to see alternate variant Locusts and Singers and Wasps and Commandos and so forth. All my TV's on and just flashed my face a whole bunch of some nice stupid commercial over it. There, thank you, TV. I should have turned that off, but I forgot to. It's muted, obviously. But we're getting all these, like, this gives me the hope, though, that they're going to keep the resculpts to the Succession Wars packs, and come the Clan Invasion and the Ill Clan era packs, they're going to be doing mostly, if not entirely, brand new mechs, which I am seriously hoping for, very much hoping for. And again, I would personally love to see like 3 Free Worlds League Clan Invasion era packs, because there's plenty of mechs to do that with. Easily plenty of mechs. So, yeah, this pack gives me hope. And because it gives me hope, I hope it's not false hope, but because it gives me so much hope, and because it is 7 very awesome sculpts with some very awesome, very fun mechs in here, this is absolutely an S tier pack. Because these mechs are great packs to be able to use, like, in your Succession War games. It's like these rarities. Oh, look, you found a Mackie that's still going around and still fighting. Or, oh, hey, someone found a mothballed Emir for no good reason. Or maybe Grandpa had a battle axe he just kept hanging on to or whatever, and finally you've inherited the battle axe, and it's time to go and fight. It doesn't matter, because it's Battletech and you can make up your own dang stories too. But still, I love these mechs, I love these resculpts, and dang it all, it's one of the best packs they've released in my opinion, because it's so cool and so new and so much about pulling from the old stuff. I mean, all these mechs were kind of featured in 3075 technical readout because they're from the historics, and the historics were what came out in 3075 technical readout. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of pack I love to see. So that gives us our second S tier pack, and there we go. Of the 8 packs that are out so far, the 8 already released kind of like Mercenary Force pack / the Proliferation Cycle pack, there's the rankings. And the saddest part is I think the worst one was the first one. The Wolf's Dragoons was my least favorite pack. Even though you got 5 mechs, it was just like, whatever. But the rest of them started getting a lot better, and they really gave me mechs I wanted to see. They gave mechs from the Game of Armored Core or Armored Combat box pack. They gave awesome resculpts of different mechs, and they included sometimes in general, just good mechs, and the unique mechs are often very awesome choices. I mean, I love my Penetrators. I love my, that just sounds horrible to say, Sagittarius, the Gunslinger. Oh, the Gunslinger is just fantastic mech. So much for the Gunslinger. So, yeah, I've got the rankings right there. If you disagree, agree, again, I'll have the tier list in the link description below. So please go and do it yourself if you feel like you put these in a different order. That's completely fine. And we've come to the end of this video. Please do the typical YouTube things. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I do read them. I try to respond to them as best as possible. I don't always get to them because life is crazy. But hey, we've all got our own stuff we're dealing with. That's the rankings. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Heck, I don't know if I have a bell or not. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications when I do post a video. But yeah, I've been SleeplessRonin. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll catch you next time. Sayonara.